Today, we're going to talk about 10 ways to spot scams and take care of our elderly. Stick around.
Welcome to Senior Care Made Simple, an elder care podcast, your guide to navigating home health care with confidence. Hosted by Andrea Albertini, founder and CEO of Horizon Care Services, an industry leader in private duty home care in South Florida. To learn more, visit horizoncareservices.com.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I am your host for Senior Care Made Simple podcast, Andrea Albertini. We got our girl back. Good morning, Doris Mascarella.
Hello there, and welcome to Senior Care Made Simple. I am back, Doris Mascarella.
I love it. I know the couple of episodes that you guys heard, Doris had some emergency and she wasn't here, but she's back. And we're getting ready to just continue to do this very exciting podcast, you guys. Listen, today, Doris, you know how I feel about this, okay? Fraud with seniors. It's not only seniors, because I was a victim myself.
Oh, me too. Me too.
So I want to talk about how people can scam. It can be at any age, because I was a scam, and I'm a senior. I'm 61. Doris, I know you're not. You're only 42.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
But, and you know how I get fired up when it comes to, to fraud in our seniors. And I want us to talk about everything, my experience, your experience, and it's a very hot topic all over the place right now with scams.
Well, first of all, I want to say that, fraud has become one of the fastest growing threats affecting everyone, okay? Not older community, but everyone. One of the ones that I had, which was, I have an Apple, I have a Mac. I have two Macs, right? But all of a sudden, my Apple Macs had this warning and this alert, and computer froze. And the first reaction I had, well, I'm working, I need my computer. And it had a 1-800 number, and and it says, do not turn off. So I'm like, okay, what do I do? So the first thing I did is call the 1-800 number, and then I started to go through the process until they said, we want access to your computer. And as soon as they said that, I said, oh my God, this is fraud. And the language that I use, I can't put it on the podcast right now, but I did turn off my computer, Control-Alt-Delete, reboot it, and there was nothing wrong with my computer. So there is a program that they have created, these scammers, to do that to your computer. If that happens to you, do not call the 1-800 number. Just press Control-Alt-Delete.
That has happened to me many times. And sometimes you even there was a couple times that I went to the Amazon to buy something. I wanted to log into my Amazon. And some way, somehow, I clicked the first Amazon that was on Google, and it took me to this it go like almost like it was a rah, 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 like almost like an ambulance or something. And and it was, and I shut my computer off right away. And it's interesting, Doris. When I started, my first job in America was a telemarketer for a medical equipment company. And I used to call seniors and let them know what's available for them, how are they doing, or, homebound. So this company I worked for, right, had this ad on TV that says, if you are a Medicare recipient, call this number to find out all your benefits. When they call, right, so we had to call them back. So the call came in, they took the information and gave it to the telemarketers to call back. Now, this wasn't a fraud. We called them back. How are you? And you could see those really lonely seniors who are having trouble walking. Then I would say, do you ever think about talking to your doctor about a walker? Or my husband, can't get out of the house anymore because he can't walk anymore. Would you ever think about maybe getting your husband a wheelchair? Now, that company wasn't a fraud, but we were able to send the medical equipment to be able to help those people. But they were so lonely, that's what I'm trying to get, that anything that says you're a Medicare recipient, call this number to find out about your free benefits. That's that was a legitimate company, but that doesn't mean that every company is legit. So, so that was not a scam, but those scams are happening now, today, with our local seniors.
But there's an alert, okay? So number one alert that we want to say about the 10 ways to spot a scam is when you get a call and there's a sense of urgency. Okay, you need to do this right away. You need to send money, or you need to contact somebody right away. This is the phone number. Stop. These people that are calling you that are legitimate or not don't have a sense of urgency. So that's a flag that you need to be aware of. The sense of urgency. Another thing that I have companies. If you have any companies, and it tells you renew your company. The only if you're in the state of Florida, it is the state of Florida is the only one that renews your corporation. If you get emails or phone calls saying you need to renew your corporation, we could do it for you. Give us your credit card phone number. Wrong. Hang up. Delete. That is fraud. And those are some of the alerts that you can be aware of.
Well, some of the things that have happened to me in the past. Now, Horizon Care Service is a big senior company, as a lot of you guys know. Well, I get a call from my COO, Rebecca, and said, they're going to cut our Broward office, Fort Lauderdale office. They're going to cut our electric if we don't pay the bill right now. I got to run. I got to go get cash. So she went and got cash. And then she had to go put in this particular machine, like 5 minutes away from the office. So she put in the money in a machine. They called her back and said there wasn't enough money. But whatever she deposited in the machine, which was $1,500, they wanted more money, okay? Because you can only do a little bit of money at the time, so they don't get caught. And that's when my husband said it's fraud. So then I find out that my Broward office, I never paid for the electric because the electric was included on a cam, like an HOA.
Oh my goodness.
So now there was no way for me to track it. So I was out $1,500. Well, thank God it was only $1,500.
Yeah.
But, anyone can be a scam. Anyone. So if anyone calls you, when my bank calls me, Mrs. Albertini, I want to talk to you about this. And what was in reference to? No problem. I'll call the bank. I hang up and I call my banker and say, hey, I just got a phone call from one of your representative. Please, what's going on? We didn't call you. So it's so important, very important. Do not give your credit card over the phone. Do not give access to your computer. Do not talk to any of those people. If it's anybody you're doing business with, just hang up the phone and call that company and say, I just got a call from your representative in regards to this, and let them talk to you. And navigate you, sometimes it's true. Sometimes they call me because they want to verify a check from my employee or something. But you know what? I'm not talking to you. I'm not giving you any information over the phone. And it's getting worse, you guys. People are getting desperate. Doris, I was talking to Chris. Chris, you're right here, my producer. And Chris just told me right now, and I am absolutely, I'm devastated. He told me it's $1 billion industry.
Oh, absolutely.
Is the fraud.
Yes,
it's $1 billion.
absolutely.
And he was telling me about all these call centers. I mean, it was bigger than FPL, our electric company.
Yeah.
Can you believe this?
Oh, I can believe anything. And another number 2 on our how to avoid is if anybody asks you for your Social Security flag or their Medicare numbers, anything that's personal, password, or anything, nobody's going to ask you that if they're legitimate. So hang up. That is fraud. Be careful with that. And seniors tend to trust, they think they're good and kind people out there. Well, guess what? They're not. They are. That's their job.
It's really sad, being in this industry as long as I have, from Philadelphia to Palm Beach, Florida. I have seen a lot, but the last, I would say 15 years in my business, every year the fraud with our local seniors becomes worse. They are the target for some of those ruthless people. It's interesting, Doris, what's happening is that there is some people that is opening up agencies in South Florida, and we get legitimate business from the hospitals, from the attorney, from the physicians, from our ads in a paper, magazine, or, sometimes we are in the news, from the news. We get legitimate referrals from legitimate people. And those people, they're opening agencies. Doris, you know what they're doing? They have people approaching those elderly in Publix.
Oh my goodness.
Costco.
Yes, I've seen that.
Pharmacy.
Yes.
They sit in a parking lot. And as soon as they see somebody walking with a walker or walking with an elderly husband or with an elderly wife, they will go and basically offer their services to them. They're not licensed. Some of them are licensed. Some of them are actually agencies. And all of a sudden, they become guardian. They become power of attorney. And next thing you know, they're robbing you. And you end up in a Medicaid bed because you're going to go in a hospital. You have no more fundings. Where do you think you're going to go?
Yeah.
It is so, and it goes back, Doris, to when we were children, that, if a stranger come up to you and try to talk to you, walk away. Don't talk to strangers. And I'm going to say that, a lot of you guys are, our podcast listeners are probably between 30 to 70 years old, okay? So if you have elderly parents, please, 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 it's time for you to say, Mom, Dad, do not talk to strangers. And I don't think it's just Florida. I think it's all over the country, all over the world maybe.
Don't judge me, okay? But yesterday I was walking and I was going to eat lunch. And I saw, and my neighbors are my family, and I saw this new caregiver with my neighbor. I couldn't resist. I went up to her and I said, "Hi, how are you? What company are you with?" And she told me the company that she was with, and I went back to my computer and I did a background check and everything because, I said, don't judge me. I love the people that my neighbors and stuff like that. So I don't want them to go through anything that is fraud related. And she was brand new. I've seen 3 or 4 caregivers in her house. Ever changing. There's not one person all the time. So I almost tackled her, and I'm like, "Excuse me, who are you? Where are you coming from?" But you have to be apprehensive. There's too much fraud out there. There's too much craziness, and you're perfectly correct. We need to verify the credentials of these people.
Oh, absolutely. And, also it could be an agency or could just be somebody autonomous. So I had a patient that was at the hospital, one of our local hospitals a while back. And this caregiver, they have CNAs in the hospitals. They're
Right.
the one who helps you shower, changes your sheets in the bed, and things like that. So this particular CNA work at the hospital offer the services to my patient. Then I have a competitor of mine calling and say, "Do you do business with this hospital?" I said, "Absolutely." She goes, "You're not going to believe it. There was a CNA recruiting my patient." So I actually had to call the CEO of the hospital and say, "Look, this is what's going on." And that person got fired. That person was running a ring.
Oh, wow.
So basically she had people that were not credentialed, not licensed, not insured, okay, taking care of these people in a hospital. They are vulnerable because they're going home. They need care. They don't know how they're going to do it alone. What other choices do they have?
Right. Number 3, if you have an Apple phone, now the new Apple phone has, as of September of 2025, they included a screening feature to prevent robocalls. I love it. I don't know if you have an Apple phone, but if you do and you don't have this feature, call Apple or try to get it. What happens is if you call me, you will be screened before that call comes through. So it stops all the robocalls. It stops all the spams. Love it. Now, if you have an Android, they also have a Google Circle to search tool to identify suspicious texts and information. So even your phone company, if you look into it, they have fraud protection. Highly recommend it. Number 4, if you have a computer, the McAfee scam detector is also a great tool that you have in your computer. Do you have that on your computer? I have
No,
it on
I don't
all
have
my
that.
computers.
Well, I have an IT protection because I pay for an IT company for all my companies. So I have them on my computer. So every time I get a new computer, they come to my house, they come to the office, and they put this particular wall
Yes.
in my computer.
Important.
So I don't need it because it's all, within horizon. So I have that.
But us that are, at home with our computers,
You need to have all
You need
that.
to have all
Yeah.
this, even if your personal computer. I check my bank every day. I look at the accounts and stuff like that. So I do want protection, and that's really, really important.
And the other thing that I wanted to mention to another experience that I had, when my husband was alive and he was really, really sick. So he got an email from, it was Horton virus. Norton, yeah. Norton virus, right? He got an email. I charge your credit card $456. So he gets on the phone. Now I'm in the kitchen and he's getting on the phone yelling at this person, you better take it off my credit card. And I guess the person must have said, well, can I have your credit card number? And he goes, honey, can you get me my credit card? I took that phone out of his hand and I said, do never call this again. I'm going to report you. So, don't call. You're going to get those emails that says, I charge your credit card for $500. I charge your credit card for, do not call those people. Sometimes you even get it from electric company, from your phone company. I mean, they know that you have whatever phone company you have. They know if you have, with T-Mobile or Verizon or AT&T, believe me, they know. It's absolutely crazy how these people can find out your stuff.
Another one is if you get a phone call, it's too good to be true. Okay, you get a phone call. Oh wow, you are a lottery winner. If it's too good to be true, it's fraud. I mean, if you're a lottery winner, they're not gonna call you and tell you you're a lottery winner.
Exactly.
You have the phone numbers. Investment opportunity, promising, guarantee returns. That's not true. Okay, I'll sell you an island in the Bahamas, or something like that. It's not true. But these are alerts that we need to be aware of.
Yeah, and I think what happens too is a lot of our seniors are lonely. So if somebody called, they just tend to want to talk.
Yes, that's
right.
true.
And I mean, I know a lot of seniors who will answer every single fraudulent call just to have somebody to talk to. And if you find somebody that seems compassionate and nice and sweet, please don't talk to them. Please find a way for you or for your loved ones to have some kind of, entertainment. Maybe go into your country club, maybe get a caregiver, maybe join a senior club or something, because, it's happening everywhere where our seniors are so lonely that they will just end up talking to anybody that calls them.
Is that why you don't answer my calls?
No, I don't answer calls. I don't answer your calls. I don't answer anybody that is not in my phone book. No, I'm kidding. Doris, I answer every single phone call because a couple times, it says spam.
Right.
And it was actually one of our local hospitals calling me with a patient who needed services. So I am not in a luxury because I'm in business. I don't have the luxury of even do what you just said to have my call screens, because in my business, if you don't pick up the phone when somebody's calling for services, they're going to call another agency. And I build my name and my reputation in this community based on always picking up my phone, no matter what number comes
Yeah, you
through.
do. We're open 24/7.
Yeah.
We take care of our calls. That's true. However, we have our protocols also.
Oh, absolutely. We are, and I do too. And even when they say, "Is this Andrea Albertini? Who's calling, please? Where you calling from?" Because I'm not even going to say this is who I am, because they can use your voice. This is the other thing, Doris, that I learned that now, especially with AI. AI is very, very good for a lot of things, but we all have to be very careful how to use. And we have to be very careful how we interact with AI, right?
Correct.
So, it is very, very, it can be very dangerous. And,
Can I jump in here for a second?
please, of course.
Okay. The AI voice modeling is the next generation of what's coming with scams that everybody needs to be aware of. There was a recent case, I'm going to say this is about 9 or 10 months ago, where there was an attorney who got a call from a policeman saying that this lawyer's son was just arrested on a DUI and hit a pregnant woman. And they put the boy on the phone who just said, Dad, you got to help me. They're going to give you the number of this lawyer to call who's in charge of this. The whole thing, luckily, it was a lawyer who got the call because the numbers that he was being given to call back to this other guy who was pretending to be an attorney didn't speak the speak. But the boy's voice was voice modeled through AI. So he thought he was talking to his son.
That's scary. That's very scary.
And they only let the son speak for a short amount of time to get out. I was drunk driving. I accidentally hit a pregnant woman. You need to call this phone number. And then they got him off the phone. So that's the next level of what's coming. Like all the scams with the clicking on the Norton and the robocalls that we get, that's nothing compared to what's coming that you're going to have to be really careful about.
It's interesting that you mentioned that, Chris, because years and years ago, I'm from Brazil. Years and years ago, they did a prank in my aunt with my cousin that said they kidnapped, because in Brazil, they kidnap people who has a lot of money. That's why a lot of the cars are... they have like the bulletproof and all that stuff. Anyway, so it called my aunt, right? And told my aunt that my cousin, don't make the call to anybody else. Stay with me on the phone. You need to figure out how you can get this money deposit and what. Now, my aunt, the poor aunt, she doesn't know any better. She's a physician. She's in Brazil. So she got scammed big time. So this is way before AI. Can you imagine?
We don't know where reality is with videos that we see now.
I know.
So project now a year from now, it's going to be really tough on seniors.
It really will. And we have to really, if you are a senior and you're listening to this, or if you are, an older adult that has grandparents and has parents, it is very important that you really educate your loved ones, what's coming with AI. And Doris, I know that you have somebody in mind that wants to come in a show and talk about AI and how to protect ourselves.
Oh, healthcare,
from scams.
Healthcare and AI. We're going to talk about it in a new episode in a couple of weeks about that. It's very important now what's happening with AI.
Yes.
I want to say something. If you get a phone number, okay, if somebody leaves a message, let's say they leave a message on your voicemail, say it is urgent, call Peter Smith for X reason. There is a website called Reverse Lookup. Take that phone number and go and put it in Reverse Lookup and see whose phone number that belongs to before you even call them back. That's very important because I've had that happen to me sometimes. I'm also in business, but I'm very skeptical, and I do have the caller. I have that Apple where they have family members asking me, why in the world did you have that? For many reasons. And one of them is that I have a lot of people calling trying to scam me.
No, absolutely. And I think especially, and it's interesting, a lot of you know that my husband passed away a couple of years ago. I still have his phone because I have a lot of... things are still connected to it. And because he would have been this year 72 years old, and the amount of scams that's coming through his phone is beyond belief. And in Doris, what happens is even when you become 62 or 65. When you're 65, that's when the scammers are even worse. I mean, worse. Well, as soon as you turn 65, I don't know how they get this information that you're 65 and finds out your phone number. Now, you got to remember, you can just type in,
it's public records.
Andrea Albertini's cell phone number, and it's right on Google.
Oh, yeah. Everything.
It's amazing. So we have to be so careful anymore. I mean, with everything. And I live in a non-gated community, right? I don't have HOA. I live in a regular neighborhood with no HOA. I mean, I have a sign outside. If you knock in my door, I'll shoot you.
I'm not coming over.
And no solicitors. Do not solicit. Do not ring in my bell if you're trying to solicit because I will shoot you. It's so funny. My son said, "Mom, I can't believe you did that." It actually is a joke though, but I did put it up there just so my neighbors can laugh because my neighbors have a ball with that, and a couple of them is doing the same thing.
Right.
And then my son goes, "Mom, I'm gonna take your guns from you because Mom, you crazy." I'm like, "Thomas, it's just a joke. Come on." So anyway,
So banks. Let's go to banks. One of the alerts that you, when they call you from a bank, why are they calling you? Why would a bank be calling you? Question that, number one. Number two, local police department is requesting a donation of $1,000. Please give me your credit card. We'll take the donation. Do not give them any personal information. I went to a bank. This is a personal story. I went to X Bank and I said, I would like to open a bank account. I would like a debit card and a credit card. I did all the procedures and they're very thorough. They send you the credit cards without the address. It's a blank envelope, correct? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Oh, I never heard of this one.
It's a blank envelope. You do not know. And then if you touch it, you'll feel the credit card.
When you get a credit card, there's no return address.
There's no return address in your credit card. It's a white blank envelope. When I requested, they said to me, "We will send you the credit cards on a blank envelope." So I knew. Never received the credit card. 3 months after, I get a bill for $4,000 from the credit card. It took me a year to dispute. That credit card. Let me tell you, I had to go into all my credit reports. Equifax, TransUnion, all of them, and dispute the charge for an entire year. So my suggestion is if you go and open a credit card, and if you don't receive it within the month, go back to the bank or contact the bank and see what happened to the credit card, because somebody had a party and $4,000 and it was a dispute and it took a long. I have a folder with all the letters that I sent. So be very, very vigilant as to when you do that because they steal your mail.
Another part of these phone scams is, and this has been a growing one this year over the past couple of months, I've even noticed it, is they will ask you in order to get your refund, right? Because you're calling about a refund that your credit card has been charged. To verify your identity, they need a copy of your driver's license. So they want you to literally take your phone, take a picture, and text them to that number a picture of your driver's license. That's a big tell. Nobody will ever ask you to do that. Maybe if you're going for mortgage company, things like that, major legitimate situations that you have initiated. But if anybody's saying to you, "I need a copy of your driver's license, you need to send it over," just text it to us.
No, flag. No. They usually give you a link to a port, confidential port, and that's where you upload the information.
It's interesting. The other thing that happened as well is I have a friend of mine, my neighbor, Lisa and Michael. They own a title insurance company. Now, I don't know how could this ever happen, right? So they send the link for the close. Like when you close in a house, they send you a link for you to wire the money. Okay. So Lisa sent the link to the client. But before she sent the link to the client got a link from a Lisa blah, blah, blah with a different email with the wire information.
Wow.
The client sent that money. Was over $300,000. Okay? To the wrong person.
Oh, my goodness sake.
Now, how? But here's my question, Doris. Wait a minute, Chris and Doris. How would that fraudulent person knew that this was happening? I'm just, Chris, please.
It could have been from a previous situation where this scammer got into their computer. See, once they connect with your computer, 9 times out of 10, they can keep reconnecting anytime to see what's going on. So they could be literally monitoring all of the emails going back and forth and be able to model something after that. It's once they're in your computer, they stay there until you understand how to get them out.
That's scary.
I
That's
mean, I was
scary.
so scary.
Without a
And then my
doubt.
son just bought a house. And, and instead of waiting till I die, I gifted him a down payment money to help him buying a house. I mean, I was freaking out when they sent me this. Thank God my neighbors was the one who did the closing. And I just, I said, Lisa, I'm scared of this. I mean, I literally went to her office and took my laptop with my bank information and wired to her why I was there. Because it's just, and you got to be careful. And then the other thing that have happened to me before is that they called my administrator for my Fort Lauderdale office, and my email said Andrea Albertini, but the email was a different email address, and they wanted her to buy $500 worth of gift card. Okay, and they wanted the number. They wanted them to scratch the number.
And you have to use common sense.
Correct.
Think about it.
Right.
PayPal, Norton, any of these major companies. Why would you have to go get an Apple gift card and give them that number to pay
No
a debt?
sense.
It makes
No sense.
no sense.
No sense.
But it's the manipulation. It's social engineering. And the way they create these stories, and the first thing you said, urgency.
Sense of urgency.
You have to get this done. Your bank account is going to be locked up for
Right.
9 months. Do
Exactly.
you want that?
No.
None of it's real.
None of it's real.
If they ask you to download a program to help them to connect you to their server, their robotic server, to give you the refund form, that's how they get in. You're downloading a thing, you're giving them the code, now they have direct access to your computer.
It's just, it's absolutely crazy. And a lot of the things, Chris, that you're sharing, I thank you for that. And Doris is sharing my experiences. I mean, the poor girl, I would never ask my staff to go buy X amount of credit cards. Like if they ever, check the email address. It could be from a friend. Sometimes a friend is in trouble and they email you and then you send the money. That happens too. So you have your friend's name, Andrea Albertini, right? But the email is different. And they ask you to do a gift card or whatever the case may be, and now they're using crypto. Either with the crypto.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. Now, how would they know I have crypto? I don't have crypto.
Right.
But I'm just saying. How would they know if you have crypto?
Well, no, that you don't. So here's the way I'll do. I know we're running a little long, but let me give you the way the scam works. You get that email. You call them. Okay. Now they're going to want to get into your computer. So now you give them access to your computer. Again, this is all under the urgency of the story.
Right.
Right? Okay.
Right.
Once they're in there, they tell you to go check your bank because they want to make sure that once the transaction happens, they want to have, what your starting number is. This gives them the view of how much money you have, which tells them now how much they can take. What will happen next is your screen will go blue or black and it'll say updating. Don't turn off your computer.
Right.
This is a screen that they are putting up so that now in the background, they are rewriting the HTML of the bank page to show the information they want you to see.
Wow.
And what they're doing is they're transferring money from your savings account into your checking account without you knowing it, so that you think you've received the money from the scam. So now they're going to ask you to go, well, you have to take the cash out. You can't because of another social engineering urgency thing. So now you're going to go to cash. Now they want you to deposit into one of their agency machines, which is a crypto machine. And most people don't realize that's what they're doing. And they give you, here's the wallet ID that will get you back into the PayPal system to give us the money back. Meanwhile, you've spent an entire day not only dealing with the scam at home, going to the bank to withdraw as much cash as you can, now going across town to the current. This is the way it's going on to billions of dollars a year. Billions of dollars a year.
Oh my God.
So people need to be aware of this stuff.
Absolutely. So
Oh my God.
if you suspect fraud, these organizations can help. The Federal Trade Commission, report a fraud or identity theft immediately. Don't hesitate. AARP Fraud Watch Network is also an alert, and the National Council on Aging Scam Awareness Programs. Immediately, or you can contact your local police on elder fraud prevention units that they have and alert them of what is happening. Don't hesitate to do this immediately, as soon as you can, so you don't have 4 months fighting a credit card. A year I spent with a credit card. So fraud thrives on urgency, fear, and secrecy. The best protection is awareness, communication, and verification. Remember, slow down, verify information, and talk to someone you trust. Knowledge is one of the most powerful tools we have to protect ourselves and our loved ones.
I can't believe you guys. As you know, listen, that's why I love having this podcast, because there is just so much information out there. And we're definitely going to have somebody, an expert in AI fraud, to be able to come in a show, because I think there's so much more that we need to learn, and so much more that we need to be aware of it. So thank you so much, Chris. Thank you so much, Doris. And thank all of you who are our followers. We appreciate your time. We appreciate you interested in Senior Care Made Simple podcast. Our mission is to provide caregivers and family with practical guidance, trusted resources, and compassionate support. Our heart goes out to everyone out there who unfortunately have had bad experience when it comes to fraud. Either you are young or older, we should never be exposed to such a horrible behavior. Thanks very much, everyone. I'm Andrea Albertini with Senior Care Made Simple podcast. If anyone is interested in coming in a show or give us any topics that you would like for us to share with you all, please send us an email, seniorcaremadesimple@gmail.com, seniorcaremadesimple@gmail.com. Have a great day, everybody.
Senior Care Made Simple, an elder care podcast, has been brought to you by Horizon Care Services, your private duty choice in home care in South Florida. For more information on acquiring home care assistance, visit horizoncareservices.com.